Awesome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining. So, today we have a very special guest, and she's going to be talking to us about something that is very important to me personally at this time. I met Julie very recently, and she and I laughed a little bit about the fact that my headshots are the ones that I took when I joined my practice as a partner. So maybe about, I want to say 8 years ago. It's been a while. So it's interesting because now I have to step in front of the camera again. And there is a little bit of hesitation, guys. And whatever it is that I'm working through, I'm going to bring it right front and center so all y'all can work through it too. So Julie's here to hold my hand a little bit and let me
I
know
gotcha.
that it's okay. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And also here in our Zoom studios, we have fun guests joining us, Marianne and Chris. I'm going to just run around the room and invite everybody to introduce yourself, say who you are, where you're calling in from, and what it is that you do. And then we'll dive into the juicy, juicy stuff that Julie is going to share with us today. Marianne, you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm Marianne Pack. I'm a spiritual medium, and I have spirit guides, the many, who answer questions and give live readings. And I'm also a podcast host. So I have hosted many of the Ladies Power Lunch coaches and service providers. And now we are working on the Coaching Concierge Directory. So excited.
Awesome. I am really looking forward to sharing about your coaching concierge directory that you're doing in conjunction with Ladies Power Lunch. So that'll be a whole other topic for a whole other day. Chris, welcome. So happy to see you joining us also from the Northeast, but you're all the way in Boston, right?
Yes, all the way in Boston.
All the way, like I couldn't walk to your house is what I'm saying.
Yes, on a rainy tropical storm Friday.
Yes.
Yes, it's good to be here. This is the first time I've been able to join one of the live events. I'm Chris Vasiliadis. My business is Priority Wellness. I am a burnout buster, speaker, and author. My specialty is working with professional women who find themselves overstressed, overwhelmed, overbusy in how they're running their lives, and they feel the way they're running things is not sustainable. And I help them turn things around and basically elevate their focus and vitality with systems of sanity so they can run their days without running themselves into the ground.
Oh, wow. I always enjoy listening to you, Chris, because I just love the way you craft your words. And it feels like a lot of the people who are a part of our community can definitely benefit from the Burnout Buster. That's for sure. I want to say hi also to the wonderful ladies who are joining us over in our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. Thanks so much for joining us. And if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns or disparaging remarks, please feel free to drop them in the chat and I will post them to our special guest. So Julie, welcome.
Yay. So glad to be here, Dr. Davia.
I am happy to have you on the show. The timing could not be more perfect.
Always.
So, I know, but it always is, isn't it? So tell us, in your words, who is Julie and what does Julie do?
Wow, who am I?
Existential question, I know.
Existential question, absolutely. Well, I'm a multifaceted woman. I am a creative and a business owner. And my juice is about to elevate and empower women to really see who they are and to take your brand to the next level, to really show instead of tell your ideal audience that I am this. And there's a process. It's more than, shoot and go, shoot and go, shoot and go. There's a process to the whole thing.
Awesome. So if I have this correctly, not only do you actually physically take the photos that help us to support our brand, but you also add in a bit of coaching for the clients who come in to see you. Tell us a little bit
Absolutely.
more about that part of what you do.
Absolutely. I specialize in photographing women,
Mhm.
branding, beauty, and boudoir. And sometimes that all happens in the very same session. For a branding session, you know, a lot of times people think, oh, I need a headshot. And they'll call me and that's what they'll say, I need a headshot. And then they tell me they're getting their whole website revamped and they need, so I coach them through that process and I help them with what kind of photographs do you need to attract your ideal clients? Because it's about showing, not telling. And then who are your ideal clients and what kind of photographs are we going to create to attract those clients? So there's part of it, there's the, you know, putting out who you are, sharing who you are, and then attracting in the different kinds of clients. And it goes deeper than even, you know, for example, my ideal client is a female business owner. It goes deeper than that. It goes into the personality types, and we talk about what different people are attracted to, who could be your ideal clients. So that's the coaching of the business branding part of it.
So I know you see a lot of entrepreneurs coming in to be photographed by you and to up-level their brand with the beautiful photographs that you take, and also to up-level their brand with the coaching that you provide. What are you seeing when we come in? What's the number one thing? Like, if you could just hug us and say, this is the thing you need to understand, this is the thing you need to learn, what would that one thing be?
So it's such an interesting thing. And I think a lot of what happens is I do hug you when you come in. I mean, I physically hug you, absolutely, when you come in.
I love that.
Yeah. The other part of it is that a lot of times as women, we forget how multifaceted we are. And we forget that there is this light that shines inside of us that nobody can dim, but we get afraid, and we get afraid to show it, and we get afraid to show up. And I can be having a conversation just like this with you, with, you know, a group of women, and I bring out my camera, and it's almost like there's this, you know, women shut down a little bit, you know, when they're in my studio. I create a very safe environment because it's intimidating, because so many of us have heard for years what we should look like, be like, do. Thank you for nodding, Chris. Yeah, Mary, yeah, you're all nodding.
You're getting a lot of likes and hearts over here on Facebook. So believe me, what you're saying is resonating.
Yeah, there are all these images of should, and I don't ever should on anybody, and we shouldn't should on ourselves, but we do should on ourselves of, you know, all of these societal things. And this light that we have inside of us, that's what I'm able to capture, and that's going to attract your clients. So that's part of it. A big part of it.
I enjoy that idea so much. You know, it's really interesting. I have this conversation very often with people, and I tell them I'm like a fireman. You know, the fireman runs towards the fire when everybody's running away. I run towards the stage when everybody's like having a heart attack about public speaking. Yet when it comes to getting in front of the camera for a photo shoot, that's a completely different ball game for me. And I am very, very hesitant. What advice would you have for somebody who is knowing that they need to show up in their photo shoot, but they're really having a lot of hesitation?
Well, I think the first thing is having a conversation with the photographer and seeing if she's a good fit, because you have certain things that you need and want to show. I'm going to tell you a story about it. I had some women in for a photo shoot. It was a generation shoot. So it was a grandma, her adult daughters, and her adult granddaughter. And they were getting ready, and we have makeup available. And I have women who are like, I want it really glamorous with false eyelashes. And I'm in Colorado, and I do have women travel from all over the country. And some women are, I said Colorado, some women are like, oh, I don't want to look like I wear makeup, because I don't wear makeup, right? So we call it no makeup makeup. The whole spectrum women can have. Anyway, so these women were having their makeup done, and grandma says, as she's being pampered and we're talking about what she's going to wear and how she wants to look, and she's there with her beautiful daughters and her granddaughter, she's like, I've never had an experience like this. She said, the only professional photographs I've ever taken are at church, where it's like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And I just about bust a gut, because nobody wants wham, bam, thank you, ma'am at church. And a photograph. And a photograph. It's intimidating, Dr. Davia. It's this, and I had the same experience when I had my first portrait made after years of not having one, because what's going to show up and what are people going to see? And we second guess ourselves. Am I going to be okay? So to answer your question, have a conversation with your photographer and make sure it's not going to be a wham bam situation. No, because nobody wants that. People are like, oh, do these quick headshots. Why? It doesn't do anybody any favors.
It really doesn't. And you're right. Nobody wants a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, especially not in church. Oh, this is the best. I think this is going to be the quote that we pull from today's call. Awesome. Here's the thing. I can tell, talking to you, Julie, that you are passionate about what you do. And I can tell that your desire to support the entrepreneurial community is 100% there. And so I want to know, what made you want to go into this area? What's the reason? Why do you even care so much about this? Because I care about the women in my community. I definitely want to see them, in nice photographs, but I don't care as much as you do, to be honest.
I do care a lot. There are two parts of it. Being a business owner myself and being a woman myself. I'm going to speak to the human part, because we're all women before we're business owners. There's this quote that Marianne Williamson says, that when we let our own light shine, we give others permission to do the same. And when you can see yourself in a photograph, when a woman can see herself in a photograph as beautiful and powerful and strong and vulnerable and gorgeous and all of these things that we are, nearly 90% of all of the information that comes into our brain at any given moment is through our eyes. Nearly 90%. So we make decisions so quickly. And to be able to see that, okay, so I have a portrait of myself in my home that I see every day before I leave. And you know what? Some days I don't feel like that beautiful, sparkly image that I really am. So that's part of the reason I do it, for women to feel empowered, to feel incredible, to feel and know that they are everything that they are seeking. So that's the first part.
I love that.
Is
there more?
There is more. The other part is, being a business owner myself, I know the value of having images of you in your brand, on your website, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all the places. I bet if anybody here in the audience, I'd be willing to bet that your most commented on images include what?
Photos.
You.
Yeah.
You.
This is true.
You are your brand.
Yeah.
So the most commented on and the ones that people take the most action on also include you. And so I know the power that these images have, both for the woman being photographed and for your brand. Now again, if you are a woman who does not have a business and wants some beautiful portraits to remind you of who you are, I had another woman share with me, she's like, Julie, this was like a photo shoot and going to therapy, and it was the best experience, so it can be that too. And a boudoir shoot can be incredibly empowering as well. I also speak and did a TED Talk, and I talked about a woman who was kind of a hesitant boudoir subject, and she ended up loving and seeing herself in a way that she had never seen herself before. So it's really powerful. So that's why I do it.
I would like to invite our guests and anybody watching on the rewatch or listening to us on the podcast to go ahead and check out your TED Talk. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you shared in your TED Talk?
Yes. Well, I talked about how women hate to be photographed because it's true.
It is.
And I talked about the power of a portrait and the power of being photographed by somebody who's going to hold that space, who's going to create that space and help you rediscover. It's like holding a higher vision for somebody. That's what I do. And then they can see it. And that's what I talk about in my TED Talk. And I give examples of women who've come to see me in different phases of their lives. Yeah.
What's one photo shoot experience that was particularly moving or life-changing that you can think of?
Well, they happen almost every week. And I will tell you, part of what I love about it is I feel like, I learn so much from my clients, and I receive so much from them in a really beautiful friendship kind of way. Every year I photograph for a local nonprofit. I photograph women who are going through breast cancer treatment. And a woman who I photographed this year decided she wanted her whole photo shoot to be boudoir. And so here's what she told me. We have a conversation, a consultation, and we have it on the phone. And we're having this conversation, and she told me she's a STEM teacher at a local school, science, technology, engineering, and math, and a librarian. So there's this picture in my mind of who she is, right? Probably all of us have a picture in our mind of who that is, right? She comes in, she's got this super great funky hair. She's super fun, high energy. And I didn't know that I gave her the choice because the organization says, photograph them how they want to be photographed. And she brought all different outfits for boudoir. And I do powerful boudoir. It's boudoir for women so that they can see the expression of themselves the way that they want to. It's not about doing it for anybody other than themselves. So she came in and she had these different outfits on, and she had breast reconstruction, and she showed some of that in her images. And when she was looking through them, choosing her favorites, one that she chose showed the side of her, and you could see the disfiguration in her breast. And it's the look, there's just bringing together the look on her face with this fierce determination. She had a tattoo that said mom, and then this breast that had this, that had been misshapen because of surgery and that kind of thing. It was this power in her and this vulnerability. And so that's one of them.
I love that. Oh my goodness, I'm almost in tears listening to you talk about this. This is really moving and really just showing how the power of photography can really capture a moment and really change lives, because I'm pretty sure that for survivors looking at a photo like that, or somebody who's going through the process looking at a photo like that, that can be so very meaningful. I have questions that I ask pretty much every person who comes on the show and just rapid fire, just as they come to you, go ahead and
Okay,
answer.
I'm
Do's
ready.
and don'ts of taking photographs for our branding.
Well, I would say absolutely hire a professional. Find somebody who
So
you
me
trust.
just taking my iPhone, setting it up in the corner, no, not really.
Can I tell a little story about that?
Sure.
So I had a client, a business client, and he worked for a large electronics company, and his photograph on the bottom of his email was one that he had taken of himself at the DMV.
At the DMV.
Whatever.
Okay.
So I took a series of photographs, headshots, some lifestyle, portrait branding kind of images, and he chose one and he put it on his email signature. And he worked with people in, overseas, all around the world. And one of his colleagues in China said, "Your new email photograph, you look so sincere." And so every time someone opens an email, whatever kind of message he has to send, oh, he's being sincere. Oh, he's sincere, because our mind registers that. So yes, so work with a professional, and work with a professional who's going to take the time to get to know you, get to know your brand, get to know what you want. And as I mentioned before, I'm a little shameless plug. I do have people come from around the country, around the world. So you can look me up.
And I know we were talking about this, and I don't think it's ready for Front Street just yet, but there may be an opportunity coming soon for people to actually come on retreat with you and actually have photographs. So guys, stay tuned for Julie, because she's going to be doing some wonderful things with that. And I'm probably going to show up for that, to be honest. Next question, rapid fire. Any resources or apps or podcasts, books, anything that you think that we can plug into to make our experience with taking photographs better?
Well, I think I don't really like, there's, there are lots of different filters on your phone and that kind of thing. And this is my personal opinion. I think that there is absolutely a time and a place to take images on your phone. I would say use a selfie stick sometimes. You're going to be able to, I cannot take a selfie. My husband's the one who always takes the selfie. So if you ever see any, just kind of like fun out and about, my husband's the one who does it. And I do have a selfie stick. I think that's the best thing, because then you don't have to be like this and your arms in the picture. It's a basic one, but I think it's worth mentioning. And I think just, don't over style unless that's your brand, don't overdo it, because you know what? When you overdo it, you look overdone.
Nobody wants that. That's
right.
Awesome. Final words of advice for us as we go forth and get our branding photos.
Well, I would say one thing is to really know who you are, and to remember that you have this inside of you. No one's going to take it away. And to show up for yourself in your own life is, it's the first step in creating a vision of the life that you want to create. I think that would be my biggest takeaway.
I think that's a beautiful takeaway. People are going to be wondering how they can get in touch with you, Julie. What's your website, or what's the easiest way for people to connect?
My website is a great way, or Instagram and Facebook. It's my name, Julie Ulstrup Photography. And on Instagram, I'm Julie Ulstrup Photo. Yeah, I'd love to have, some followers, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I've got lots of tips for, taking a better photograph. Just, even when you're out and you want to, post some things on social media, I've got some tips. I've also got tips for the type of branding images you need to really have a powerful presence, and to have a library where you can post things frequently,
Do you have all of this stuff on your website? Is that a good place for us to connect with this information?
if somebody wants to contact me via my website, probably though, yeah, someone can fill out a contact form and say, please send me, tips for showing up better in a photograph, or yeah, I have a contact page. That would be a great place to reach me.
Awesome. And do you have any programs or any events or anything going on now that you would like to share with us?
I do, actually. I have 2 events. Well, I am part of a retreat. I am hosting a retreat in the mountains in Winter Park in September. And we do have a few spots left for that. And that will also include, Dr. Davia, you mentioned this, it will include a headshot session, not the wham bam type. But that's happening, and that people can also contact me on my website. I've got that. I also am working on a collaborative book project for women 50 and better. And it's 50 plus and fabulous.
Ooh.
And you can find that on my website as well. So we're taking beautiful portraits of women, and then we've got this book part of it where we get to write and share, what we've learned and what wisdom we want to share with the world. So, or what we're grateful for. Yeah.
I love this. This is wonderful. We could have
you.
this conversation for so long because you are just such a great conversationalist. Julie, I am so pleased that you're able to join us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for making this all available. I love all of it.
Awesome. And, I also want to just say quickly, thank you to our beautiful ladies who joined us today here in the studio, Marianne and Chris, and special thank you to our wonderful friends over in the Ladies Power Lunch group who joined us via Facebook. The Friday party isn't over. We get together again at 1 o'clock and we'll have a conke or speaker coach, and she's going to be talking to us about some new things that she has to offer. So tune in for that and go have lunch, everybody, and I'll see you guys on the next show. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Thank you so much.